Our next speaker, Joe Kohiji, is Director of Marketing Channel Activation at Calix, joins us now to speak on. Joe is a marketer, product developer, and business strategist with a love for understanding consumer behavior and connecting brands and products. With over 15 years of B2B and B2C marketing experience across multiple industries, including telecom, Joe helps service providers quickly go to market as Calix Director of Marketing Channel Activation. Joe, welcome. I turn the screen over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and great to be here with everyone today. Let's get started. I couldn't ask for a better segue into my conversation than what Sasha just did. I think what I'm going to bring is right on the heels what she was talking about, and it's really going to be hopefully some tactical things that you can start doing today to build out a data-driven marketing plan that's built on aligning it to the subscriber experience. So I'm really looking forward to this topic. Just breezing through this a little bit about Calix and what we're trying to do here is to align, your platforms and systems so you can continue to bring simplified business solutions, excite your subscribers, and grow that specific value. So one of the three challenges that really what this whole subscriber experience philosophy is all about is how do you simplify the business models, whether using AI, machine learning, these types of things, exciting your subscribers with those real-time data and insights, personalized marketing and communications, and then the ability to grow your service offering through acquisition, loyalty, and additional revenue pieces. So our philosophy at the company and the topic really for today, which I hope lands well for you, is using data and insights, mapping a subscriber journey to find meaningful connections between your people, your subscribers, and the offer that you're bringing them, whether it be broadband, Wi-Fi, IPTV, security, depending on what your product portfolio looks like. This is really what it's all about. Connecting at the inherent and kind of visceral level with your subscribers, and moving away from some of those transactional activities that we've been good at for a while, and not that that's wrong, but the customer is evolving. So welcome to day 3. Again, Joe Kohiji, Director of Market Channel Activation at Calix. Spent a good amount of time in the telecommunications space, having served an ISP here in the United States in Wisconsin for a good number of years. So definitely been in your shoes, and hopefully can translate some of the learnings that I've had. So a couple of things I just want to cover quickly today. How you can use these data and insights to help drive those business directions. And really what this is all about is mapping the subscriber journey, right? Understanding what that looks like. And as our last presenter, so effectively communicated, being able to provide personalization along that journey in those moments of truth so you can connect to them as they migrate. So a couple of things. Corporate marketing, these types of activities up and to the left, right, are not necessarily what we're going to talk about today. I think it's just worth mentioning this because so often telecommunications marketers really focus in around the ones up and to the left: corporate marketing, member communications, product support, those kind of things. And it can be a little bit of a distraction from what needs to be done, which is focusing on great customer onboarding and customer acquisition, making sure that you're getting good take rates within your other product lines. So, right, that's really cross-sell, upsell. And then how do you foster good retention and loyalty to reduce churn and to really optimize LTV, or lifetime value, of that subscriber? So we'll get into some of those things. All right, so additionally here, the traditional funnel has looked like this, which is a very linear approach. And as if you're in the last session, you'll know that that's not really what we're trying to do here, right? We're trying to align with the customer journey, sort of right, we heard it, outside in, focusing in on what that subscriber needs are all about, and then positioning yourself along this journey with touch points and personalization and communications that matches their expectation with these different phases, these different stages of that buyer journey or that customer journey. So it's really important to identify what those are and then map accordingly your marketing communication plans. So really critical. All right, we're going to start with a couple of things I want to touch on first, and that's really just acquisition. So when we think about data-driven acquisition, what do we do there? What do we need to understand? Well, the first thing you want to understand and really capture from a data perspective is what is your total addressable market? Now, this is all areas in your service area, all addresses, I should say. But drilling in a little bit deeper, understanding what's the serviceable available market. Now, this is all the addresses that you may pass by with service or have the ability to serve. These are really important for understanding those long-term take rates and penetration so you can monetize the plant you've put into the ground or on wires or over WISP, et cetera. And then the serviceable attainable market, right? This is the realistic serviceable area where you have drops, the ability to serve those customers and maybe other customers who are served by competitors. This is a metric that you want to track. It's called the serviceability rate. This should help drive some of your marketing communication. So if we jump ahead, marketing that lands and is aligned to those who are underserved. Let them know you're coming. Let them, if you're building out a new area, maybe you're a greenfield operator or a muni who is starting to deploy fiber in new areas, let them know you're coming. Build anticipation. And then also this helps create nurture streams for telling them when service will actually be available. So it's all about improving that customer expectation of when that service is coming. Let them know that you're there and you're continuing to develop those things. So some good examples of how to market that. Additionally, if your customer is served by a competitor, may not be a direct competitor, could be a wireless play that you're trying to compete against. This is where persona-driven marketing really comes into play because you want to tap into the inherent needs of a subscriber subset. So in the case of a gamer or somebody who's working from home, potentially, or schooling from home, or a parent, and realigning the marketing messaging and the value prop to better connect with that particular prospect. All right. So moving ahead into developing some of these successful campaigns, and we'll show how this all sort of comes together here. But the first thing you want to do with any data-driven approach to aligning to the subscriber experience is establishing those objectives early on, right? We talked about that. Those could be your KPIs, or it could be, different metrics along that subscriber journey. Identifying your audience, you heard that in the last session again too, right? This is persona-driven marketing. Who are they? Who is the cohort of subscribers that make up your customer base, right? Could be particular family subsets or work-at-home professionals, gamers, people who are people who are highly connected, right? We call those the ultra-connected here. People that are really tech savvy and whatnot. So identifying where those customers at, what percentage of that subscriber base makes up that particular cohort, and then starting to isolate unmet needs. That's and it may not be a need that you're not particularly offering today, but it could allow for opportunity to drive in new services into that particular customer. So align those solutions, build the messaging, and then you can start your communication plan. So let's look at some of those really, really tactical things here. And upsell and cross-sell, although a more traditional sales-minded philosophy here, really what we're saying in here is identify those gaps in a need that the customer has and offer a solution. That's all we're doing here. This isn't the used car salesman hard sell. It's essentially trying to understand a couple of key ones. So let's break those down. Are they on the right broadband tier? This is a great upsell opportunity, right? And again, it's a hard push. It's knowing that they are not being served the full capacity that they need for their home or for their small business. So additionally, as we all know, the customer thinks their internet is Wi-Fi and their Wi-Fi is internet, and sometimes that can provide you, the service provider, some heartburn with respect to some subscriber experience because they think their internet is bad. Well, it likely is that they have a Wi-Fi connected issue. Actually, most times that is the issue. So, what about premium services like Wi-Fi as a service? This is a great cross-sell opportunity to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Subscriber, while your internet is okay, it seems like we can improve your Wi-Fi experience. Here is a solution. And then finally, value-added services. These tend to get a bit more granular within those personas and requires more data to understand who has a propensity to purchase a particular value-added service. So in the case of network security, um, high device counts within a home, things like connected cameras, doorbells, smart TVs, thermostats, those kind of things, right? They really are vulnerable to cyber attacks, and so they are a good candidate for network security. Parental controls, I think, kind of speak for themselves, and additional IoT as a service. So, helping maybe second homeowners or people with rental properties and stuff. IoT things like cameras and et cetera could be a valuable service that you could offer to that particular group. All of those things considered help with you determining and driving towards higher ARPU. Again, average revenue per subscriber or per user, but also with additional margin affixed to that. So important to make sure that you're driving profitability there. And then average value for transaction. This is something that many call centers or outbound inside sales organizations will use to determine effectiveness of some of the campaigns to attribute growth within particular product lines. So things you can track. And how do you market that? How do you sell it? So upsell example on the left and a cross-sell example on the right? Thinking in terms of ultimate productivity, focusing in on service plus Wi-Fi for work from homers, and then additional services with things like parental controls or possible Wi-Fi assistance using applications, et cetera, on the right there. Okay, retention and loyalty. We're moving quickly. I'll go through this one rather fast because our last speaker did such a good job. But if we think about retention and loyalty, ultimately we're going to think about churn. There's two different types, involuntary and voluntary. Let's just focus in on the voluntary side of things. So why do people leave? We heard this: perceived lack of value, poor experience, possibly poor Wi-Fi speed and connectivity. They just get frustrated and they'll churn out. They'll look for other providers who really aren't delivering the type of experience that they're looking for. It's important. How do we track that, and how do we make sure we're doing such a good job? You can do things like focusing in on lifetime value. Obviously, churn rate is a great short-term one. And then eventually, a net promoter score is the sort of ultimate that, hey, we're doing a good job. So definitely want to focus in on those. How do we control churn? We look for those events. This is definitely where machine learning, AI, and data aggregation with logic built into it, that's just another way of saying artificial intelligence, really comes into play. Okay, so how do you watch for trigger events? Well, you monitor the signs for, is the customer running speed tests? Are they visiting competitor websites? What sort of complaints are we seeing within the call center? And how do we aggregate that information and track that on an ongoing basis? So that's pretty important. Additionally, service limit hits. Are they utilizing that bandwidth to the maximum? These kind of things and whatnot. Additionally, low Wi-Fi score, so being able to track that within the home, and then just looking out for the non-pay disconnects. Can't stress that enough. And while AI can do a lot of these things, sometimes the best engagement point for things like this, especially if they're sensitive, like a non-pay disconnect potential customer, is with a compassionate outbound call from a CSR or from a customer support rep. They can really be the front lines to help nurture that relationship and make sure that they can resolve those issues. So a couple of good examples there. All right. So what I wanted to do today is like, how do we bring this whole thing together? How do I, leave you with something that gives you a sense of how you can bring this back to your organization and start working on it today? So let me see if I can do that. I'll try to pull it all together. Let's align, right, the subscriber experience with data-driven marketing. Okay, here we go. First thing we're going to do is this is really a journey builder. And if we are going to do this, we're going to do it outside in. Okay, and we're going to start. So awareness in this case is making sure your marketing materials are robust and focused in on particular needs of the subscriber. So we're going to start from acquisition and work our way in. So imagine the customer goes to your website from a Facebook ad that finds that you're in the neighborhood with great service. From there, they're moving into consideration phase. They're exploring what their needs are. Maybe it's 100 meg symmetrical service, and possibly could include whole home Wi-Fi because, right, they really resonate with Wi-Fi and they want the control of an application. Well, wouldn't you know, here it is, right? Fiber can bring them the ultimate experience, includes premium Wi-Fi and an app to control it with a particular price. Okay, so great, you've done that. Next is the acquisition side of it, where they actually call to sign up. Now, you definitely could do this out on the website. You could take signups out there. Same thing applies. They call, they sign up for service, they have a great interaction with the rep. And now we can use things like trigger automated new customer intro campaigns with things like MailChimp and mobile notifications on the phone to automate the onboarding process, which we'll get into next. So moving ahead, once they're through the onboarding process, this brings them right up to the point where the tech is ready to come out and install their service. You've been in interaction with them over the last 30 days or longer, depending on your build process. And the tech comes out, they install the service, they optimize it, and the tech installs the app at the time of service. And the CSR may follow up just to say, hey, we hope you're enjoying your service. Welcome. Okay. The great thing with this is now we have another trigger event that will start a 30-day automated onboarding nurture campaign using a multi-channel subset of communications. During this onboarding time, we may have more data coming in that could reveal some additional opportunity to activate the subscriber in a particular unmet need, in an unmet solution. So in this case, our backend data reveals we have a work from home customer who has extremely high device count. So we can deploy automated messaging via mobile notification to that customer and letting them know, hey, we feel your pain. We know something is going on here. Would you like to experience a better Wi-Fi with a value-added service add-on? And in this case, they go ahead and agree to purchase experience controls as well as maybe network security. Moving along to the retention and support side, this is typically, after enough time has gone by, a lot of data is coming in, we'll reveal a lot of information about, is that customer truly having a fantastic experience? In this case, they may be hitting their service limit hits. Maybe they are on a slower speed because it was cheaper, and the data reveals that, hey, we probably need to up your speed a little bit if you're going to get the best experience. In this case, this is a high risk opportunity to avoid a churn out. So this would be an all hands on deck multi-channel execution where we would push mobile notifications, likely an email, possible direct mail, although the time to get that in the customer's hands takes a little bit longer and it's expensive. And then ultimately, though, a CSR call to say, hey, we have an upgrade option for you and a mesh extender. They're happy, they get a great service. A year into their service, we automatically send out an anniversary nurture campaign. This is where we start to go for some of the advocacy. Did we do a good job? If we've done this journey, we think we would have. It's a great opportunity to send and delight the customer maybe with a gift or an offer that says, thank you for being a value-added customer over the last year. And it's a good opportunity to ask for a referral or for that customer to write you a positive review out on Google or Yelp or Facebook. Additionally, if you are tracking net promoter scores, this is another good time to do that. And then you can continually do this on an automated fashion. So as you can see, building a journey around the subscriber experience doesn't have to be hard. But what you have to be able to do is map that and then align your marketing communications and your touch points along that journey. So what are the results of all this? Why do we do it? Why is it important? Well, if you take data-driven marketing to the extent that I just talked about and align that to the subscriber journey, the net product out of it is you get a great executive dashboard. You get something to go back to show your boss, the CMO, the CEO, the GM, what have you, and saying, hey, we're driving great results or we're not. This is how we're addressing things, and we're adjusting our marketing communications and our product portfolio to elevate our ARPU growth and ensure we're reducing churn and making sure our LTV, our customers are at a steady growth pace. So this is a great byproduct. Additionally, if we look at some really good success models, operationally, you're going to save a ton on truck rolls or call it excess support out of your operations group, because you will have clearly communicated how to use your products, shown them that they have self-service options to be able to do via the app and other avenues, and you can start to control some of that operation cost. Additionally, in the case of this service provider in the US, Nervato, they're having fantastic acquisition of a managed Wi-Fi service. This has increased their margin of their existing Wi-Fi offering from 12 to 60% and is really driving great results, not only for them, but also for their subscribers to have the best experience over their service. A little bit differently, if we look at GVTC in Texas, they really did this to focus in on their net promoter score. They want to make sure that they are driving new subscriber growth via customer experience, and getting customers to refer them is the best way that they can do that. And so they've driven a fantastic increase in their net promoter score by doing what I just explained. And lastly, Bascom Communications, a 95% adoption rate of their new services, right? So moving beyond the broadband and moving into the home with a value-added experience, 95% adoption rate there. It's working really, really well for them. This is offering opportunities for their subscribers that they can't get in big box stores and generating additional revenue. All right. So finally, the key takeaways here. Establish your KPIs. Lock those things in, okay? Then outside in. Map the subscriber journey, right? Everything that I kind of just went over there. What is your subscriber's unique journey? How do they find you? How do they engage with you and understand what products and services they need? And then how are you supporting that journey across the continuum? Not just within kind of post-sale acquisition, but also pre-sale engagement and retention activities. Then you got to capture the data, whether it be on the web or through your net flow within your or your billing system. You got to capture it and be able to aggregate that so you can start making your data go to work for you. From there, create personalized touch points throughout that journey. We talked about automate, automate, automate. You can use things like AI and chat bots and all these things, mobile notifications, trigger events, customer journey builders through things like email service providers. There's ways to automate today, which is the beauty of being in our business, to be able to deliver those touch points at scale. Then analyze frequently, rinse and repeat. It's easier said than done, I know, but it can be done, and it's being done all over the place. And the beauty is you have the opportunity to do it at scale and at large. So with that, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk with you. This was a great conversation. I'm glad I got to follow Sasha before, because I think the two sessions here, I think, really dovetail nicely together. So I hope you come away with some really good tactics and strategies for driving your business and your customer experience objectives.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you for your contribution.